The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to The Gift of Life with Gregg. I'm your host, Gregg Francis, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Barry Kaplan and Leora Lieberman. We save lives, plain and simple. Have you known someone stricken with leukemia? Has a family member of yours suffered from lymphoma? Then turn up your dial. This show is for you. We are the gift providing a second life. We are the gift of life. Since 1999, we saved over 2,700 lives. For many patients with blood cancer, bone marrow donation is often their last hope, and that's where we come in. We try hard at what we do, but we will never be satisfied until we can say, one day, we found a match anytime, anywhere, for anyone. That's the gift of life way. So now we have the scissors, we've opened the box, and now it's time to unwrap the gift of life. Alrighty, hello everybody. I'm Gregg Francis, the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer of Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation. We're so excited to start our show today. As some of you may know, this is our inaugural show, our first show of the Gift of Life with Gregg Tuesday series. And we're glad to share with you the wonderful cause that we feel deeply about, the Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation. And I certainly hope my friends at 800 Yamato Road are listening or watching right now. If you are, I hope I'm making you proud. The mission of our show is simple. It's to celebrate life. To celebrate the gift of life we are all so lucky to have. Whether it's watching your son's Little League baseball game, calling your mom to say I love you. And with that, I know my mom, Katie, is listening. Mom, I love you. Did you ever think I'd be on radio? Whether it's going to the beach on a beautiful day or spending the day with your loving spouse. We all have gifts of life to share in. We all have something to celebrate. And that's what we want to do here. Remind everyone of how special life is, no matter how big, how small. Just remember the gift of life and how special it is. How every day we wake up healthy is truly a gift of life. Now, to be fair, I want to share with my listening audience my gift of life, which are my two beautiful boys, Patrick and Nicholas. Aww. Boys, I love you. Both you and Daddy, for that matter. Never thought that I would have my own radio show. So this is going to be a real uplifting show, and let's have a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts, Barry Kaplan and Leora Lieberman.
Hi, Gregg. How are you doing?
Hi, everyone. So good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Barry and Leora. So Barry here is a recent graduate of Skidmore College. Congratulations, Barry.
Thank you, Gregg. Thank you.
And Barry's interned at the Gift of Life for the past 2 summers in our finance and business departments. And wouldn't you know it, after graduation, he's now working at the Gift of Life full time. And yes, I'm still nice to him. I don't know what I do without Barry. He follows me around, gives me good advice, and really has a keen mind.
Why, thank you, Gregg. I appreciate that.
All right, no, my pleasure, Barry. My other co-host, Leora Lieberman, is a recent graduate of the University of Florida.
Go Gators!
All right, chop chop. We have the alligators going. Leora started Leora started out with the Gift of Life as a volunteer at the University of Florida to drive. And this summer she signed on to work with us in various departments. And I think we had her in just about every department, and we created some new ones for her. Unfortunately, Leora is leaving us at the end of the summer to pursue a master's in public health, although I'm going to try to ask her to hold that off for 1 year. And after her MPH, it's her aspiration to attend medical school one day, and I know that she's going to do all of that in very fine fashion. So again, welcome to our 2 co-hosts. And for those that are listening, if you want to call in during our radio show, it's 1-888-565-1470. And for those that want to call Gift of Life, it's 1-800-9-MARROW.
All right, so I'm going to begin describing what Gift of Life actually does. What we are is we are a bone marrow registry. We're an international bone marrow registry, and we're actually based in Boca Raton, Florida. So what do? We find people, complete strangers, who are willing to go out on a limb and donate their bone marrow to a patient who's in need. We take these really, really wonderful people, heroes in my mind, these volunteers that are willing to donate bone marrow, and we prep them, we educate them about the process, and then we find a patient who is sick and who happens to be a genetic match to the donor. We then facilitate the donation. After the donation is complete, we facilitate any anonymous communication that goes on between the donor and the recipient. And finally, about after a year, the donor and the recipient can actually meet face-to-face, and a lot of the times we are able to have that at our annual gala.
And for our listening audience, we may have a little secret later on in the show. So Barr, I'm glad that you said that, and we're truly here to celebrate the gift of life, the gift of life. And for our listeners today, I invite you all to learn about what we do here, but by the same token, I want you to call at 1-888-565-1470 and talk about what your gift of life is. No gift of life is too small, too large, so we definitely want to make this an interactive, upbeat show. So if you're motivated and inspired by what we do, we want to welcome you to our show in whatever capacity you feel comfortable with. We want to invite you, our listening audience, to save lives. Whether it means volunteering with us at a drive, even means taking a tour of our headquarters, which I invite everyone that is listening today, 800 Yamato Road, Boca Raton. Call us up at 1-800-9-MARROW to ask for a tour. We're right in Boca.
All right, so let's talk about how Gift of Life began, because that for me is a really not only an interesting story and an engaging story, but it really I think gives value to what we do as an organization. It all began one day, very much like today, with a young man named Jay. And Jay wasn't feeling very good. He woke up one morning and he felt like he had the flu. So he, with his mother, went to the doctor. And instead of the flu, Jay found out he had leukemia.
Wow.
And unfortunately for Jay, he was very sick. The only way that he could be cured of his cancer is through a bone marrow transplant.
I want to take a step back, Bear. And Jay was 23 at the time, and this would resonate very much with you two because I believe you're both close to his age.
Exactly.
Correct.
I'm 22, and I just graduated college. You know, at graduation, you feel this rush of, wow, my life is starting. I have all of this time ahead of me. The time is mine. There's no time limit. It's limitless, and I can't even imagine being 22 years old on this precipice of the future, and wow, and getting that type of news. I mean, Barry, what do you think? Like, what would you feel?
Well, it's a crisis. It is a crisis. There's no other way to describe it. He got sick. He heard the news. He just got a job. So he was working at the Federal Reserve. It was a really interesting job. He had just graduated college, just like you and I. And he got this news, this crisis, and the doctor sat him down and he said to Jay and his mother and his father, you need to start preparing to say your farewells.
Wow.
And as a parent, I don't know if I'd be able to stand up straight. Hearing at 23 years old to prepare your bucket list, it's you need to have a strong sense of self. You need to have a strong support system. So, Barrett, go ahead with the story.
So the doctor says to the family, Jay's family, he has one option, and it's a very slim odds that this option is going to work out for him, but he can find a person to donate bone marrow. Now, 30% of the time, if you have cancer and you need a bone marrow transplant, 30% of the time, an immediate family member will be a match for you. Jay has two brothers, and unfortunately, although they were matches for each other, they weren't a match for Jay. So Jay was in that majority of the 70% of people that need a bone marrow transplant from a complete stranger. And unfortunately, Jay's background, his ethnic background, he was an Ashkenazi Jew of Eastern European descent. And a lot of his family and a lot of the people who would have been a match perished in the Holocaust. So a lot of the options that he would have had, unfortunately, weren't even there for him.
Where do you turn at that point? Where do you turn?
Well, I'll tell you. The doctor says you need to start preparing your farewells. You can pursue bone marrow transplantation, but it's a small, slim odds of being successful. And Jay's parents wouldn't have any of that. His mother, Arlene, said, "No, I will not accept that.
Wow.
I'm going to fight for my son's life."
Wow.
And you want to know something? That's the power of a mother. As Jay affectionately likes to say, that's the power of a Jewish mother. It's the power of a father. I want to mention his father, Jack, a real sweetheart, a real gentleman. And unfortunately for our listening audience, Jay's mother passed away this January of 2014. But I promise everybody she made the world a better place during her 80-plus years on Earth. And that's how you measure a person. She would not let her son die. Despite what doctors said, despite how the odds were not in her favor, she is a hero and will always be a hero.
So she was successful. She found Jay a match, but how'd she do it? There was a huge grassroots effort that her husband, and Jay started. It was called the Friends of Jay. And basically what they did is they tried to recruit people to donate bone marrow to Jay. First they had to test their tissue type, and then they tried to find a match out of all the people that they tested so Jay could get his transplantation.
So bear in mind, Barry, this is in the early 90s.
Exactly. So there's no internet, there's no LinkedIn, there's no Facebook, none of that bubkiss.
There's no social media,
No social
so
media.
you're looking at ledger paper. It brings me back to my accounting days.
Oh man.
No tweets, no Facebook
Nothing.
statuses.
So
Nothing.
let me tell you what they did. Despite all of that, they managed to recruit 60,000 donors. 60,000. It's incredible. I cannot get over it. They ran about 250 drives and recruited 60,000 donors. And it was about 4 years that took.
That's amazing.
And
That's
it was incredible
unbelievable.
with the lack of resources that they had.
And you want to know something? Again, if I could say something about Arlene, not every match that they found for an individual was a match for Jay, but nonetheless, she was so happy that somebody else that was suffering from blood cancer, their life was saved.
That is really the magic of this story, is that the more they recruited and the more awareness that they built, other people, not Jay, other people that were sick and looking for a match were able to find it through Jay's efforts.
It was a byproduct of Friends of Jay that they, in fact, were saved.
Exactly. So one of these individuals who was saved, he was a young man, very much like Jay. He got a transplant, and his best friend realized what was going on and realized that the only reason he was able to find a transplant was because of the Friends of Jay and the grassroots efforts that came apart from that. And he also realized that Jay was still looking for his match after 4 years. So he decided to run a match in Jay's honor. This was a drive that was located in the Midwest of the country.
Yeah, the Milwaukee, Chicago area.
And basically what happened is, this again, bear in mind, this is the 90s, the early 90s, so in order to get tested for the type of bone marrow, you needed a finger prick, a blood sample. And a lot of people, myself included, don't like needles. Not like needles. So it so happens that there was a volunteer that night who decided to volunteer for this bone marrow drive. Her name was Rebecca. She did not like needles. She was deathly afraid of needles. They were wrapping up the drive. They were cleaning things up. This was going to be the last drive for Jay, too.
Wow.
And Rebecca decides, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get tested because it's worth it. It's worth taking, it's worth that little minute of pain and that little anxiety, and I'm going to go ahead and try it and see if I'm the match. And wouldn't you know it, that was Jay's match, the last person on the last drive of 250 drives, 60,000 people.
But you want to know something, Bear? As contrived as this seems, you can't make this up. It was the last person to be tested before Jay was going to go what's called a perfect mismatch, which the odds post-transplant aren't as great.
They're not good at all, and especially back then, there was a lot of misnomer. Not that much. It was a completely new field, bone marrow transplantation. So it was a risk.
But I want to share this with our audience, and I know that we're going off the grid a little bit, but persevere in life. If somebody tells you that it can't be done, Don't take that for an answer. If you feel hard enough that it could be done, if you feel that there's a way, don't let somebody stand in the way of succeeding. And that's what the Feinbergs should be known for. They would not let somebody, you know what? My son won't make it. I'm not taking that for an answer. My son is going to make it, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that my son lives. And that's why I say that Arlene Feinberg, Jack Feinberg, and I'm proud to say my friend Jay Feinberg are all heroes. They would not take no for an answer, but in the same token, they're responsible for saving so many other people's lives. And through today, from 1999 to 2014, the Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation is responsible for saving over 2,700 lives.
And you know, back in the 90s, once Jake was in remission from his cancer, he sat down with his parents and he looked at the numbers. He realized all of these people had found matches because of his efforts. And he said, you know what? I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to do with my gift of life.
And getting back to the story, as Jay was a Forex man, he worked for the Fed. He was going to embark on a legal career, and I believe that he was going to go to Seton Hall Law School. And you're going to see him with going to law schools. That's going to be a current theme on the show, as you'll see a little bit later. But Jay and his family sat down. He opted not to go to law school and make it the family mission from Friends of Jay morphing into the Gift of Life that they want to serve underrepresented ethnicities in the worldwide marrow registry and try to save people's lives. It's an incredible story that continues, but the chapter is not closed.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We're going to take a quick commercial break for some PSAs and commercials. We'll get back to y'all in a minute.
We want to extend a special thanks to our friends at the Boca West Foundation for all the wonderful work they do for Gift of Life and for all the meaningful service they give to the Boca Raton community. For over 3 years, the Boca West Foundation has generously supported local charities in the Boca Raton area. The Boca West Foundation. It's all about the kids.
Alrighty. Thank you, Leora. So welcome back, everybody, and I hope for those that are just listening, this is The Gift of Life with Gregg. And you can reach us today at 1-888-565-1470. Again, 1-888-565-1470. And we're calling from The Gift of Life. This is www.giftoflife.org. And the number for Gift of Life is 1-800-9-MARROW. Now, Barry, Leora, I just want to get something off my chest, and I know that I'm going off a little bit, but here it is. For some of the people that read my CV or read my bio know that I'm an avid soccer fan. I've been playing since I was 5 and played throughout college. And, you know, sometimes during the day at Gift of Life, it could get stressful. It's always a lot of fun. We take pride in what we do. But 1 month out of every 4 years, I really enjoy watching the World Cup. I really do. So at 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I go into the break room and hoping, you know, to catch a little of the soccer game. In fact, congratulations to Germany for winning. And if my friends Fran and Joe Docks are watching, thank you for letting me watch the finals with you. But during the Cup, 1 month a year, I hope to go into the break room. Do I get to watch the World Cup? The answer is no. It's either The Price is Right, The View, and I promise you if the day ends in Y, then the Ellen Show is on. So no, we don't get to watch I don't get to watch the World Cup, and it's not asking a lot. It's really just, you know, 1 month out of every 4 years. Staff, if you're listening right now, you get to TV the other 47 months. I just ask once every 4 years. Let me watch the soccer games, please.
You know, I gotta disagree with you on this one, Greg. I have a beef with FIFA, and I have a beef with the Brazilian government for the amount of money that they spent on these games. $12 billion in costs. $12 billion to build stadiums in the middle of the Amazon. To me, it doesn't add up.
No, you want to know something? I'm not going to sit here and opine on how the Brazilian government should spend their money. I truly enjoy the recreation of watching the games. I love the patriotism at watch parties over the course of the year. I mean, yeah, you could certainly make the argument that they shouldn't have spent that money, that there's not going to be a return on investment. There are far more pressing issues, but you know, I'm not going to be paternalistic with Brazil on how they should spend their money.
Well, that's not a value, though, because these stadiums are giant money pits. They have to, maintain these stadiums. They have to keep them clean. And what about filling them? What about having games in them? What about the economic utility of these stadiums? It's zero. There's nothing there, and there's nothing going to come out of it.
I don't know. I enjoy it. You can make the same argument with a movie. They spent $60 million or $200 million making this Transformer movie. It entertains people for 2 hours. Does it create value? You know what? In my opinion, it creates value. In your opinion, it doesn't create value. I enjoy watching the games. I mean, I'm a big fan of spectator sports.
It just doesn't add up to me. When you have overpasses collapsing, when you have infrastructure failing in the country, you have rampant corruption and crime, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why couldn't they host the FIFA games in a country that has infrastructure that would already be able to support the games?
It's a great question, and I researched this before you asked me, because I try to be prepared because we argue as my right hand at work, we normally argue 5 to 6 hours a day, but the fact of the matter is these bids are given out 8 years in advance, so I don't know that we could foresee how the economy is going to be in Brazil, but nonetheless, you want to know something? It's fun, it's recreational.
Yeah, well, as fun and recreational it is, there's another thing that I don't really like about it, and that's the outrageous salaries and the idolatry that goes on with these sports superstars. It makes no sense to me. LeBron, for example, being paid $20 million, is it really worth it, $20 million, putting a ball in a basket?
You want to know something? It creates value. I can make the argument with you, Barry, that LeBron is the most underpaid athlete. Just hearing over the weekend that just him going back to Cleveland, and I'm sorry, Miami Heat fans that are listening, he's going to, just by his being there, businesses, they believe, will increase by about $500 million. So he's getting paid $20 million, but their area in Northeast Ohio, businesses will increase by $500 million. I think I would take that. I would pay $20 million to make $500 million. I think it's a pretty fair bet.
Those are odds that I'd take, Greg. I mean, whew. That's just a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for people to kick balls into a soccer goal, to throw basketballs through a hoop, to slap hockey pucks through a goal. But you want to know something? It's hard to be paternalistic as to tell people where to spend their money. But one thing that I am going to do, and it's a little bit self-serving, is I'm asking people that are listening to the show today, and again, if you'd like to call in, it's 1-888-565-1470, 1-888-565-1470. To take a step back, because we have kits on our shelves, which we're going to go into a little bit later, that I promise you, I mean, Barry, you and I could debate the merits of paying people this or that for their sport, but I could promise you that there are lives waiting to be saved at Gift of Life.
I can attest to that, and this is what kind of gets under my skin, because I've been in that room. I've been in that storage room. It's really cold in there because there are DNA samples, so we need to keep the temperature down. There are kits on the shelf being stored there. And for me, as a statistician, I actually looked into it, and I can guarantee you that there are at least statistically three matches on those shelves. People who are sick right now need a transplant, and those transplants are sitting on the shelf waiting to be matched.
And you want to know something? We and the 40 people at 800 Yamato Road, we have a responsibility. But our responsibility is to gain Gift of Life exposure. So am I going to ask people today on the radio to contribute their funds? If they believe in our cause, the answer is yes. If they want to learn more about us, I'm going to say, please take the time. I'm not asking for your money today, but I am asking you to please take a tour of what we do, because I don't believe that there's anything more important than saving a life. And it only takes $60 to test one kit. And I know that we have kits in there, which means that lives are going to be saved. So it's a matter of foregoing a cup of coffee at your favorite coffee house. It's really no more complicated than that. So we could argue night and day about what people should get paid and what they shouldn't get paid and what value it brings and what value it doesn't bring. What we can argue, and I think that we all collectively agree here, is that we can make a difference. And there's going to be a challenge on next week's show for our listening audience. But we can make a difference to save lives. And it's our responsibility to get the word out. So I'm making an invitation to our radio audience. It's 1-800-9-MARROW. And I'm asking you to please give me a call. Or if you want to learn more about Gift of Life, it's www.giftoflife.org.
It's really an incredible, it's an incredible building. It's full with incredible people that do life-saving work. The personalities that you meet on a daily basis. I love working at Gift of Life.
And we encourage anyone of any age. You know, I'm 22 years old, and I may not have, the financial backing to donate a lot of money, but at my age, you can run registration drives on your college campuses. You can get the word out there in any organization that you're in. Everyone of any age can become a part of Gift of Life and become of the Gift of Life family. And that's what we really encourage. We want everyone to celebrate their own gift of lives at any age, at any capacity.
And I want to go back, Leora, to something that Barry said, the idol tree. The idol tree. So do you idolize, should you idolize an athlete? The answer to that is I don't know. I've never idolized an athlete in my life. I have always idolized my father, my mother, my brother. I idolize Jay Feinberg for what he did for humanity. I idolize my wife, Lori. She raises two wonderful kids when I'm not home a lot of the time. So in that respect, I think that they have a greater social platform to, be a positive role model for children. But is it their job? I don't know. But what I do know, Leora, Barry, and our listening audience, the next guest that we're going to have, I would say, is an idol, at the very least, a hero. So that's something I believe that we could all agree on. So I want to take a quick break right now, and we're going to join you with a hero in just a few moments. All right. We have a special guest today, and really a person that I idolize. Dare I say, my friend Nicholas Hudson. Nick, are you on board with us?
Here, thank you, Greg.
All right, Nick. It's tough to hear you, but I'm going to do the best that we could. So, firstly, how are you doing, kiddo?
I'm doing great. There he is. I'm actually still at a hospital with a donor today, so you can add another hero to your list.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that's where I am right now.
All right, so I teasingly asked Nick, where in the world is Nick Hudson, because I send him to a different state just about every day. And, Nick, you're the perfect person, and we're going to tell the listening audience why in a second, to be what we call a day of collection coordinator. So what state do you happen to be in today?
I'm in New York, which is my home, so I haven't traveled too far today.
All right, and
I appreciate that.
If I'm not mistaken, Nicholas, you're originally from Massapequa.
I am in Long Island.
Yeah, that's two of us. I'm from Long Island myself. So, Nick, let me ask you before we get to the serious stuff. Were you listening to Barry and I debate about team sports?
I heard a little bit of it. I just caught the tail end.
Okay, so just so we settle this, because you're a sage man, who do you agree with?
Well, I gotta be honest. I kind of like Barry there. I like Barry's point.
I'll keep the tallies.
All right, I'm keeping tallies. Yeah, you didn't think that the World Cup should have gone off in Brazil?
No, I didn't think so. But you know what? It wound up being pretty good, so it's hard to complain.
All right, yeah, no. It was a very exciting World Cup. So, so you're in New York today, and Nick, I want the listening audience to get a little bit of an idea of who you are and where you came from. So after Massapequa, I know this a little bit, he went to a fine school in Nassau County called Chaminade, and is that in Mineola, Nicholas?
It is.
All right, my mind, they tease me that I'm 44, 45, but you see, kids, I still have it. So Nick, after Sham, where'd you go to?
After that, I went to Emory down in Atlanta.
All right, a fine institution, So what were your activities there? Were you in a fraternity, Greek life, play ball?
I was in a fraternity. I played a lot of intramural sports. And I did a lot of local volunteer work because at the time I was working a lot with kids, and I thought that was probably where my life was headed. So that was kind of the three big things I did.
Alrighty. So all right. So you're at a fraternity. I know you had fun. Division III school. You played a lot of intramural ball, and I saw Nick shoot some hoops. He's pretty good. So let me ask you a question. How did you get involved with the Gift of Life?
Pretty much there was a blood drive when I was a junior, and I used to, try to give blood as much as I could. And one of my friends was in a different fraternity, and they were hosting it that day. And one of the things they had at the end, when people would kind of drink apple juice and eat crackers the whole time, was the swab. And so I didn't really know what it was at the time. I just knew that my friend was asking me to do it. So I said, yeah, sure, what is it anyway? And just kind of started reading about it as I did it. And it looked pretty cool. It's hard to say no to something like that when you read about all the good stuff that happens and the positive effect it has. So that was it. I didn't really think too much about it after that because, the chances are great of being called. So kind of just went on with my day.
All right, and it turns out that you got the golden ticket. But going along with the story, and again, if you didn't know that much about it, now we train people that they do know about it. So we're moving forward with that. So Nicholas, let me ask you something. Tell me about the day. Then tell me about the process of getting swabbed.
So pretty much all it is filling out your information on a form. For me, that was, again, while I was sitting there eating cookies, so I was pretty happy.
Nice.
So it's hard to argue with that too. It's free cookies. So pretty much just sign up, get your personal information on there so they can contact you in case you are a match. Fill out a couple medical questions, and then you just swab your cheek. So I think the whole thing took probably 5 minutes tops, and I was out of there.
So about as long as this conversation, and you're in the registry. So, again, for everybody that's listening, this is Gift of Life with Gregg, 1-888-565-1470. And for those of you that are just listening, we have Nick Hudson on the phone. Nick was a donor and decided to save a total stranger's life named Cam, who you're going to meet shortly. So, Nicholas, as I affectionately mentioned before, you're one of my heroes. So going back, Nicholas, to your days at Emory, do you remember where you were when you got the call that you were a match?
I do. So I moved to Chicago after that.
Great city.
And I worked out there after college. And I got the call one day. I used to work afternoon and night, so it was like the middle of the day. I remember it was like, right around lunchtime. So I was sitting, probably watching television, being really busy. And I got the call, actually first from one of my friends, because they couldn't reach me at first. Gift of Life couldn't reach me because I had moved and my address had changed. So a buddy called me and said, I think someone's really trying to get a hold of you. Like, did you maybe rob somebody or kill somebody?
And
it turned out it was actually just Gift of Life, so it wasn't nearly that bad.
Nicholas, I just want to give a shout out to our brethren listening. Great job, retention team. We will not let anybody get away. If we need to save a life, we're going to contact every possible person. So, ladies and gentlemen of Gift of Life, and dare I say friends, if you're listening, congratulations. So Nicholas, so you got the call that you never thought that you were going to get. You never thought about it. You know, it took 5 minutes, the whole process. You had great cookies, I hope, and some apple juice. Then you got the call. What happened when you got the call?
So when I did get the call, first of all, the person on the other line was really excited. They started, like, kind of screaming a little bit in a good way, like excited call, because I overheard them say, he called us back. So I don't know, like, how many people had tried to call me and then not gotten a hold of me because my numbers were all different at that point. But it was kind of exciting. I felt really wanted. You know, I didn't know what they wanted, but I liked that they wanted me. They didn't know what to call them, so that's kind of cool.
No, it's a great feeling. Did they tell you who you may be donating to?
All they said was it was a little boy. At the time, he was about 4.5, and then he had leukemia, and that's all they could tell me.
You want to know something? As I mentioned at the onset, I don't know if you heard, Nicholas, I have 2 little boys, and I don't know what I would do if I found out that one of them had a blood cancer, but I really want to thank you and the other donors who are the unsung heroes that would save a perfect stranger's life. So then, going forward, Nicholas, what was your reaction after you spoke to Gift of Life when they told you that you'd be donating to a 4.5-year-old?
I mean, that's really all I needed to hear. You know, I don't think it took a lot after that to say yes. It's difficult to say no. I would have said yes to anybody, but, you know, to hear that, your heart kind of goes out to them, and it's the first thing you hear. You know, and I have, like, little cousins, and I have family friends who were that age at the time, and it's easy to just think of them and think about what they probably went through. So for me, it was a no-brainer, and I was excited to move forward. They kind of warn you and say, you know what, just because you're matched now, you might not be the match at the end. Is that okay? Would you still be willing to go forward? And I was just happy that, you know, I could maybe help somehow. So I kind of just went forward from there.
And you want to know something, Nick? When I tour around, you know, go to different campuses and I speak to people on the phone, what really reaffirms my belief in humanity lately, the question would be, why would you want to donate? And really the response would be, why wouldn't I want to donate? It really, really reaffirms my commitment in humanity. So you're a hero, and we're going to, you know, meet this young man who you're a partner for life with very soon. But before we do me a favor, walk us through the donation process. So you got the call, and then what happened?
Sure. So then you go through pretty much just like a blood test to confirm that you're the best match for somebody. So I just went to a local place. You know, it's about 10 minutes away, not even on the L in Chicago. So went there, got a blood test, got told that I was the best match, and they wanted to move forward and go ahead and do the donation. So at that point, they said it'd be in Baltimore. So I actually flew there for a physical in the morning one day. Flew back in the afternoon. I felt really important because I was one of those guys flying through different cities all in one day. That was kind of cool. And you definitely feel like a little bit of a VIP at the hospitals and stuff because you're there doing a good thing. So I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air for them too.
Okay. So on the day of collection, you gave marrow. What was your recovery like?
For me, it wasn't too bad. You know, you really read about it and. You know, try to prepare yourself as much as you can. And for me, I thought I'd be in much worse shape. Pretty much I was fine. I flew home the next day. I lived in a 5th floor walk-up, so I can say that, you know, that was definitely the hardest part, was walking up the 5 floors the following day. But other than that, I was fine in probably about 2 to 3 days. I'd taken off work for a week thinking I was going to be on my back, you know, like staring at the ceiling, and I was fine, and I was, you know, playing ball less than a week later and hanging out with my friends. So for me, the recovery process really wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. And really what other people told me they thought it would be like. You know, I think going through it firsthand really changes it. And I try to make that known to people that do it now too. You know, I went through it, and obviously everyone's different, but for me it was a quick process and very worthwhile.
Nick, your partner for life is going to be on the phone for a second, but I want our listening audience to know one thing. You graduated St. John's Law School, great college basketball. I grew up loving them. So what impacted you after you graduated law school to not practice law, as we heard with Jay before? So we have some... Once you get affected with Gift of Life, it turns out that you don't want to practice law. But what motivated you to move forward with Gift of Life instead of practicing law?
I think it was really what motivated me as a person. It's not just motivated me to stop practicing law and start practicing Gift of Life, but by volunteering and seeing all the good that it did and meeting people who went through it, I found out that's what motivated me to work harder, and motivated me every day to want to do something like that. So I think finding your motivation in terms of what kind of work you do is really important for anybody in any field. And for me, I found just by volunteering and speaking to people and getting more involved that this is something that really motivated me every day and made me want to get up in the morning and just, want to do more. And it's kind of cool, to say the least, now to be able to say that, you put together drives that register people, and they've now come to fruition and been matches for people. And that to get up in the morning and go to hospitals and sit with people who are donating and have them tell you it made them feel better and made the actual process itself a lot easier. Or to even have someone to say that they convince, I convinced them to do it is a pretty, that's a pretty nice feeling.
That's amazing.
And I wish that other people can have it too.
Nicholas, I say that you're one of the most selfless people that I've ever met. I hope my children look at you as a role model. I hope that other children look at you as a role model. Barry and I were discussing before athletic role models, but we can unequivocally say that you are. Before we meet Cam, I always want our listening audience not to know so much about the employee, but also know about the person. So I came up with a game for us. They're called Knickknacks. I'm gonna fire off some questions to you, and just give me the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Ready, Nicholas? Here we go. Favorite song?
Favorite song? Can you play it? That'd be pretty great. I don't know what you guys have over there. I'd say "You Make My Dreams Come True" by Hall & Oates.
Oh, very nice. Good wedding song.
Smile when that song comes on.
Favorite band, Nicholas?
Favorite band?
I knew this was going to be a toughie.
It is tough because I love music. Favorite band ever is Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
That's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Good answer. Favorite movie, Nicholas?
I kind of copped out, but that's my answer.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie is Life is Beautiful. With Roberto Benigni.
Oh, wow, that's an amazing movie.
Great.
I have some Italian family, and they makes me think about them when I see that. And it's just a great movie. How can you not like that?
All right, something a little lighter. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, that's easy. Cookie dough.
Okay, and LeBron James or Carmelo Anthony?
Oh, man. I'm a New Yorker, so it's Carmelo.
Okay, and this
LeBron is so much better.
This might be the most important question since you've been with Gift of Life, and it'll probably give you the most job security. Yankees or Mets?
It's Yankees. It's not even close.
All right, you have job security. I'm a third-generation Yankee fan, so Nick, your job is secure. So, Nick, I want to thank you for joining us. It's great to have you on the show. And our listening audience right now, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
All righty. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We're going to say goodbye to Nick and invite Cam and his mother Tracy onto our show. And Cam is the boy who our prior guest Nicholas Hudson saved. So this show is a celebration of the gift of life. And Cam, are you on the line, Tracy?
Hi.
All right, this is for you.
I'm the man.
I'm the man. Cam's the man. Cam's the man. So, Cam, Tracy, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining the Gift of Life with Gregg. So,
I just wanted to give you a heads up. We have some really bad weather right now, and our lights keep flickering, so I hope that we can make it through the call.
all right, so we're going on turbo speed now. So, despite the terrible weather, how are the summers going?
Have a good time.
Yeah, good.
Good. So Cam, how old are you now, buddy?
10.
10? Are you going into 5th grade or 6th?
5th.
All right. No, I have an 11-year-old, and he's going to be going into 6th. So, Cam, how's your summer been going so far?
Good.
It's been going good? All right.
Yeah.
Have you been going to the beach?
I've been going in the pool.
You know what? You don't get sand on you. I think it's better. I like the pool better than the beach also. And I think I know the answer to this one, but let's get it out for our listening audience. Cam, have you been eating any ice cream?
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, yummy.
You know what? The good humor man is here for us. So you gotta, you know what? Since you had ice cream, and we spoke about ice cream before. So Cam, were you able to see the fireworks last week, or did it get rained out?
Yeah, I could.
You could. We were lucky. We had to push it to the 5th. In Maryland, we had terrible rainstorms. I was there with my family last week in Ocean City, and we had to push it from the 4th to the 5th, but it was a great show. So you're going into 5th grade, Cam. So what's your favorite subject in school? It's okay to say lunch, right, Ma? So what's your favorite subject, Cam?
Math.
Math?
Oh, cool.
All right.
That was my favorite subject too, Cam.
Me too. And Cam, if Mom could pack the best lunch, what would it be?
Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to learn how to pack that. I never got a cheeseburger. Cam, what's your favorite TV show?
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. And Cam, do you have a favorite song?
Billy Joe.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And this is, since Good Humor came on, do you like sprinkles on top of the ice cream?
No.
No? All right. Are you going to summer camp now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite sport to play at summer camp?
Soccer.
All right.
Okay.
Cam, you know I love you. I played my whole life soccer. So
That's all you need to say.
Yeah, no.
That's all you need to say to get Gregg's
And
heart.
you want to know something? I didn't script this with him beforehand, our listening audience. He said soccer of his own volition. He said soccer because he loves soccer. So what position do you play in soccer?
Defense.
Defense?
Nice. That's what I played.
All right. I was a striker. So, Cam, what's your favorite baseball team?
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Okay, and football?
Patriots.
And who's your favorite player on the Patriots? Tom Brady.
Don't worry about the players. It's all good.
It's all
The
good.
Patriots are all good anyways. Cam, this is Barry. A little bird told me that you like Star Wars.
Yep.
Cam, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Anakin.
Nice. I have a personal favorite, Chewbacca. And did you know that there's going to be a new Star Wars coming out?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Right.
Okay.
So Cam, is there any friends or any family or pets even that you want to say hi to while you're on the radio?
It could be anyone, friends from school, or...
To my brother.
All right.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's phenomenal. Cam, when you and Tracy come down to our office, I would love to take you out and we'll go Star Wars, or we'll go ahead. I'll introduce you to my son, who's around your age. But Cam and Tracy, I can, and Nicholas, I can't thank you enough for coming on our inaugural show. For our listening audience, this is what it's about. A young man who's going into 6th grade that's just enjoying every day, whether it's going swimming, whether it's listening, watching Star Wars, playing in summer camp. This is what it's about, and this is why we do what we do. So Cam and Tracy, please don't be strangers to the show, and I hope you stay safe in the weather.
Thank you so much. I mean, we owe everything to Gift of Life and to Nick's. I mean, we went miniature golfing this weekend, and his brother was able to get his first hole-in-one, and
all right.
all because of you guys. So.
Wow.
All right. That's great. No, you want to know something? All we wish for you is that you enjoy, and every day that if we could get our message across for everybody to enjoy the gift of life. So I can't thank you enough. And Cam, you're a great radio interview.
Thanks.
All righty. And again, don't be a stranger. And we'll be speaking to you real soon.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We're going to take a quick break right now, and then we come back. We're going to have a trivia question from Leora about events that we're having. So please stay tuned and listen.
Are you in the market for a health plan? If so, please visit my friend Gary at Health Plans Unlimited. No plan is too big or too small. Gary will customize a plan that's affordable and comprehensive just for you. If you're interested, please visit Gary Goldman, the best in the biz, at www.healthplansunlimited.com. Again, that's www.healthplansunlimited.com. Or you can call Gary Goldman directly on his personal line at 954-303-6676. Again, that's 954-303-6676. And tell him that Gregg sent you directly from the Gift of Life. Health Plans Unlimited. We have the plan for you. Welcome back to the Gift of Life with Gregg, the show that talks about giving and receiving. I'm your co-host, Leora Lieberman, and I'm here with my host, Gregg Francis, and co-host, Barry Kaplan. If you'd like to call into our show, we'd love to hear from you. Please call 888-565-1470. Again, that's 888-565-1470. And now, back to our show.
And we're back. My name is Barry Kaplan, and thanks for joining us. You're listening to The Gift of Life with Gregg. And we're going to be talking about events now. Gregg, why don't you tell us about the upcoming event this weekend?
All right, yeah, we're always having events, and we're always trying to get our name out there. And this weekend, on Sunday, July 20th, we're having a bowling tournament. The registration is going to be... That sounded like a strike to me. Registration at 10 and bowling at 11. And you want to know something? It's a $60 entry fee, which will sponsor one kit. 4 games are guaranteed. We're going to cut the field to one half. And then after that, the cash prizes for the top 3 bowlers, $500 for first, $250 for second, and $100 for third. And again, let me just get that address out. It's 21046 Commercial Trail in Boca Raton. We're going to have some different competitions, eliminator bracket, scratch pot, Fun 21. On top of Fun 21, the whole day is going to be fun. So please, if you're interested, give a call to 1-800-9-MARROW, or if you're local to the Boca Raton area, please give a call to 561-982-2900 and ask for Gregg, Barry, or Leora.
And we're also going to have another event, I believe, coming up later in the month. Why don't you tell us about that one?
This is Bond with Us, a James Bond theme. And that's going to be on Saturday, August 9th at 6000 Glades Road in the Town Center Mall, and it's going to begin at 6 p.m. And there are 2 options for going to Bond with Us. One of them is the silver ticket, which offers cuisines and libations. And the gold VIP ticket is early entry, always in the Bond way, covert martini tasting, and a VIP giveaway. So photos. There'll be photos, prizes, raffles, music, and more. And ladies drink free. So with the bowling tournament,
I just want to give one more shout out to our friends at Throw It Better, throwitbetter.com. Do you need help with your bowling game? Are you taking the right 5-step approach? If you want to become a competitive bowler, even a recreational bowler that's considering joining a league, or a league bowler that's considering joining a tournament, you need to see Vince.
All right, and it looks like we have a call. We'll be taking that call now. Hello. Hello.
hello, you're on Gift of Life with Gregg.
Hello, Gregg.
Hello.
Hi, this is Ivanov calling from Minsk, Belarus.
Ivanov?
Dr. Ivanov, I was involved with Finberg many years ago when he was searching for his bone marrow donor.
Wow, okay, wow.
Wow. I thank you for calling in to the show. Have you been in contact with Jay since then?
With Valerie Levin and Ivanov to help Jay find appropriate match from his felon's roots in Dodno region of Minsk in Belarus. Enough success to
All right,
find
thank you for your
someone.
call, Doctor. We got to wrap it up, though, unfortunately. Thank you so much for listening to Gift of Life with Gregg, and I hope you all tune in next week.
Next week, we have the challenge on how the show is going to save somebody's life. Again, thank you, and we're going to be here the same time, same place next week.
Thanks for tuning in to The Gift of Life with Gregg. I wanted to personally say thank you to everyone who participated in today's show. And I also wanted to let you know if that you're interested in what we do here at The Gift of Life, please call 1-800-9-MARROW. That's 1-800-9-MARROW. Or you can visit our website at www.giftoflife.org. Again, that's www.giftoflife.org. Even though we're wrapping up our show today, remember, you must always unwrap the gift of life.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.